Osiris.
Hey, Bruce.
Oh, glad I turned around to see that message that we're live.
Yes, we're live. One of these days, we're going to figure out exactly when we're live and be able to greet all of you at home at the right time. But thanks to everyone for tuning in.
We had a hectic morning.
Yes. Greg took the red eye back, so Greg's a little tie-tie. So, Bruce, why don't you talk about what we're doing today?
Well, today we're gonna try to have a show. We're really gonna be breaking down some of these last shows that Goose played this past week and weekend. Lot to talk about there, a lot of new songs. So we're gonna dive into those a little bit, and we're gonna kick it off with some news and announcements as usual. So I think a big one that I just saw come through my email not that long ago was the free premiere of San Fran at 9 p.m. tonight, the first night. So check that out on YouTube if you haven't watched it or weren't watching the streams this weekend. Another big news, Jam of the Year. Those brackets still going. Competition still riding along. So we just had the closest matchup yet of the year and Jam of the Year. It just ended today, right before noon. The 822 Fred Tumble barely edging out the 5-3 Arrow from Frederick. That first show that kicked off the year with the horrendous rain and tornado.
Oh, the monsoon show. Yeah.
Putting people in danger on the ground in puddles.
Yeah.
Trevor could have just hit the wrong string and electrocuted numerous Goose fans. Oh my God. We're having a hard time today.
I'm going to give Bruce the torch.
But just by 1%, that one beat it out. I actually think I should have voted for the Arrow. I voted for the Tumble, but that was a pretty hard one. I just went with the bias. I
voted from both my personal Twitter account as well as the Great Beyond account, and I voted once for each song. Yeah, so providing a good, healthy balance there. But actually, funny enough, I wasn't at either one of those shows. Did listen back to them, and they were both excellent jams. But I do my best to stay out of the rain. But for sure, make sure to join in on Jam of the Year. Follow at Jive Goose on Twitter to vote in the daily matchups. This has been going astronomically better than last year. I don't even want to say better, but just a lot more people participating this year because I guess a lot more people like this band called Goose.
519 votes on this recent one, by the way. So it's quite a bit, and it's been keeping up with the relative average, I think, for most of these. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this was more contested, but also be on the lookout. They're doing an actual podcast to introduce each one of these matchups as well. A little thing that they're calling 72.6 WTED. Very creative.
WTED.
So look for that on MixLR. There's posts on Goose, and there's posts on Twitter as well. So check that out also. Guys put a lot of work into this Jam of the Year thing, and it's actually been a ton of fun to vote on. So.
Even though my Rosewood Heart lost last week. But you know what? We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of shows to talk about. So week 1 of tour, leg 1, 5 days, 5 shows. I'm going back to Cali. But let's start with Arizona. Yeah,
let's Atlas to kick it off, which is a fan favorite. It's one of my favorites as far as their covers go. And everybody loved to see that back in the rotation. Hopefully a little more commonly. So going to be looking forward to seeing that again. It's been a long time since I caught one, I think.
But then they had that thing they were doing this spring where they put Atlas on every set list. I think to kind of fake people out. Some people spotted it on a set list on the stream, I believe, and so for a run of 5 or 6 shows, they just put Atlas at the top of every set list, which I think did kind of wreak havoc in Fantasy Goose with people just kind of looking for tips there. But strong start, really strong start to tour. Jive Wine Butter Rum, Electric Avenue.
That Electric Avenue was sweet. I did not know. I don't know King Gizzard at all. They did those Black Hot Soup teases. But I just was lit when I was listening. I was like, this is a really good Electric Avenue. I know I was talking to some people online, obviously, like, it could be, I don't think hit or miss. I always love to hear it. It's usually at a good spot too. And it's a fun song, but it's kind of like, it's standard a lot of the times. And I think this Electric Avenue was definitely one of the better ones they've played. It was really cool.
And then followed up by SOS into Slow Ready. Bruce, you had some stimulating conversation in El Goose about what SOS really is.
It's coming back to me now.
Is it
I'm a little out
SOS?
of it I'm a little out of it from my second bout with a very popular illness recently. So, but yeah, so that was miserable. I think we could probably clear this up by just saying, like, it's the same fucking song. Like, we know this, right? SOS and Dawn, same song. It's just one segment that they tracked out for an album, because this is one of the things with these jam albums. SOS is a very long song altogether. You want to reach more people or allow people more variation or how they want to listen to that album. Some people just love the jam sections. So now you've isolated the jams for jam fans that tend to always go to that part of a song. And then for people who want to listen to the whole song, you listen to the whole thing through. That's why they slide right together. Or you can just listen to the song, the more sing-songy portion, even though there are lyrics to some of those other portions as well. So it was really more of a tactical thing, but it has confused a lot of people. And I mean, I guess rightfully so, Yeah.
Would you say the same rules apply for So Ready and Satellite, in parentheses, S Delta Lilite?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they didn't do this. They just shouldn't have done it. Just like literally, I don't know why, but yeah, I think the same would go for it. You just never hear them apart.
Right.
But this does allow, like some people were mentioning, them to be able to split them up on set lists too. And then just because they write it out as Dawn, it's just another cue. Why would they put SOS Part 2 or why would SOS Jam? They named a track already for it. So
right.
But you know what? Overall, I think that's less important than the fact that they're just, trying to actively vary things in their set lists and catalogs. And something people have been looking for. They had it written down on set list separated, but hadn't done it before. I don't believe so. This was the first time. So yeah, cool. I mean, I think it would have been cooler if they started set 2 with it, but I don't write their set list. So
sure. Well, we know the people to talk to, or at least we think we did. Set 2. We've got a debut.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Darkness, which I can only imagine is Peter's nickname.
I call him that all the time. As you can see, half my face is dark as well. I'm just trying to keep that.
Yeah, it's your nickname. Yeah, for sure. Really cool new song.
Figuring out the positioning here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Darkness. It's a cool new track. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but obviously every set so far, set 2 is open with something new or a very, very old bust out, if you will. But Dr. Darkness, like, super cool song. I think, what I noticed is a theme in these set 2 openers is, even though the stuff is new material, they are really not keeping it in a box. I think some songs take a really long time to develop. And I don't know how much they've been practicing these songs, although I imagine with the way that they do work, they're probably relatively new additions that haven't had a ton of time to be workshopped and practice. So it's cool that they're just kind of out there sending it, and seeing what it's turning into. I think that reflects a whole lot of trust in one another.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's like, these guys are trying to do things their way and trying to satisfy fans. So like, they know that people are looking for new music.
Sounds like a lose-lose.
Tell me about it. Trying to satisfy the fans is fairly tough, but unless you're a simp like me who just loves everything, wears an Elmeg hat. But like, and I like Dr. Darkness. I feel like I've liked all of these new songs. I think it's a good idea coming out with to start the second set, I think, with these songs, because just like you said, like, they're just really starting to feel them out. First time playing them live. Some of them are a little more vibey a little bit and not like maybe the highest energy. So it's a perfect spot for that stuff. And then they played them out too. They played some pretty long versions of these new songs and really had some cool jams coming out of it. Like the next thing we'll talk about. But yeah, it's a good thing to see this new music, good thing to see this variation in the set list. So lot of good stuff to come, for sure.
Definitely.
And that was just night one. So
yeah, I mean, in the words of Rick James, the darkness is spreading. So let's fast forward though. Elizabeth, Heater, really, really strong Elizabeth. Our favorite kind of theme was teased, the Bingo Tour theme, as well as Mad World. If Elizabeth is sounding like that I want to hear Elizabeth every night. I mean, it's crazy.
I've really always liked Elizabeth. I feel like sometimes I see mixed feelings about it, which of course any song, but I've always loved Elizabeth, one of my favorite Peter songs. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it typically plays well. It's just kind of puts them in a good pocket, dude. High energy, and it's just a fun song. So they have fun with it, and we always get good things out of that.
And then we had Tumble, A Western Sun, and the controversial closing of SOS, in parentheses, Dawn. Really, really strong first show, followed by a Mustang Sally encore. Really, nice to make this whole thing come full circle. First time in Tempe, play Tempe. I don't know, Tempe.
I have no idea. I just tried to say it. Arizona.
Okay, first time in Arizona, they played Mustang Sally. Come back, play it again. Love it, love it, love it. We've heard a lot of good Mustang Sallies over the years, even back in the Visuto days.
We've heard a lot of Mustang Sallies over the years. You can say that.
Yes.
But yeah, I love it, man. I don't know. It's, I think some people lamented that they played it again out there, but it's just something that was special for the band. They try to make jokes. They're not funny. I'm much funnier. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here, Greg.
Now on Osiris. Thank you, Osiris Network. Yep.
Giving us a platform to be hilarious, I guess. So I think we can move on
to San Diego. Yeah, let's get to San Diego immediately. Wales opener, Earthling or Alien, not featuring Greg Knight, so definitely not as exciting. Let's not even talk about it. Into a Smoke and Mais Canada.
So this is interesting because I see that this gets people thrown off all the time. The actual Portuguese spelling is Mas, so M-A-S. This I is actually not correct technically.
I'm gonna have to disagree there.
Look it up on the internet. I have computers here, but I'm not gonna bother. Just like Joe Rogan. This is official.
Why not? It's true.
I don't speak Portuguese, but this is what I know.
I don't know about it. That's right. Well, this will be on Spotify later, so it's going to be true either way.
I hope we don't. I hope Spotify doesn't write us a letter.
Sure, they won't. Turn Clouds, which I can guarantee is spelled correctly and in English. Love a good Turn Clouds. One thing about Turnt Clouds is I feel like it hasn't really found its conventional spot in setlist construction. It's not a first set song. It's not a second set song. It's not an encore song, although we've heard it in each one of those places in the past couple of years.
Maybe it is an encore song, kind of. I think, to me, that's kind of been the best spot, maybe, so far. Although I do kind of agree with you, too. I haven't really thought about that, but it's true. It just kind of, it floats around. I mean, they keep trying to move it around different spots. Mid first set is an interesting spot for it.
Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you think. Where should these Turnt Clouds go? Lisa Gaverna says encore for sure. I think you're onto something, Lisa.
Lisa.
Time to Flee. It's had plenty of time to shine in first sets, really since Texas. Loving what's happening with Flea. The more and more Peter gets comfortable and expansive with his piano chords. Ryan Storm can probably tell us a little bit more about what he's doing on piano.
Right.
But
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yes.
He's hitting keys.
He's hitting keys. It seems like he's growing more fingers or something like that. But Time to Flee keeps getting deeper, and I love the direction it goes. Bob Don quickly becoming like a high energy rock song, which Bob Don's taken a little while to take shape, and they jammed it out for a long time. I'd rather just see Richard, kind of rip it up and keep it moving.
They have some of those built-in, what I call classic rock style jams in some of these songs that they tend to always play standard like that, because it does give Rick that one part to really rip for 4 minutes or 5 minutes, and then they close out the song. And that is what happens with Bob Don quite a bit, but it's such a cool peak. So it's so gritty. It's really, I do love that. I do wish we'd get a longer one some point, something that really goes out there. and maybe gives the rest of the band more time to also get involved. But not yet. One of these days.
First set closer. Really, all we need to talk about that Madhavan.
John has it marked as an epic super Ted jam,
yes,
which
yes.
I was. So I watched
an adjective factory.
I watched this first set, and I think it was maybe I forget who was streaming, maybe Kathy.
Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy Kirkies. 12 shows.
Absolute G.
Yep.
So and streaming for all the people, so we appreciate that. The Madhavan, I noticed at the time, was very cool. I haven't listened back, but yeah, that was a heater. So I was glad to see that John agreed with me too at the time.
Yeah, sure. And set 2, I mean, we've got another new song, right. Pancakes, originally by Great Blue.
2015.
2015
was released.
Back when Peter was still in elementary school. Probably eating pancakes daily.
I know. I think people are critical sometimes of some of the lyrics and the types of songs. Right. You know, I heard some stuff about this pancake song. I'm like, oh shit, it's named Pancakes, like about McDonald's flapjacks or something like that. And I was like, okay, great. So I listened. It wasn't
more of a McGriddle, I think.
Oh, McGriddle. I'm sorry. And you know, it wasn't that bad. Just like a McGriddle, it's a little greasy, but okay, back on the. But I liked it. You know, it was kind of spacey. I've only listened to it once, you know, and it had a cool jam that came out of it too.
Oh, like, yeah.
It kind of got, they had this neat beat going on with the drums, and then like they got into a funky jam, and then they kept that beat going through some synth stuff, and Peter sounded great on it. I mean, it is a song.
Sure.
You know, Trevor sounded fantastic also, but like, I just thought it was a vibier, kind of a cooler song than I think some people were portraying online, you know? So I liked it. I definitely liked it. And it's cool to see a song from 2015 sounding like much more mature than that.
Absolutely. And, you know, proceeded in All I Need. Another great standard All I Need.
Classic.
Can I be a bit of an Al Goose commenter and maybe just, you know,
it's your life.
Out of turn.
If you want to throw away your life in El Goose, go ahead.
Please feel free to defend me after this, Bruce. I've heard a lot of All I Needs in my life. Dare I say I've had all I need for now?
I mean, it's different though for us. It's hard. It's like, of course, I think you and I and some of our friends are going to have some different preferences about what they're getting to hear in shows. I think it's important for people to remember. And I know this has been going on for what seems like a little while now, but they haven't reached that many people. They still have tons of new fans at every single show. And just like with any kind of live performances from musicians in the past, people want to hear the hits. And I know you think like, oh, no, we don't. You know, we're all jaded jam band fans. You know, we want to get weird and esoteric and shit. But like a lot of people that are seeing them for the first time really want to see Tumble or Turn Clouds or All I Need or Madhavan, these hits that they do still play a lot while they're still developing the other parts of their catalog, getting a feel for how they want to put together shows. So like, you know, there's going to be some of this, what feels like repetition. And I mean, that's why they go ahead and try their hardest to vary things about that, about how they jam it out or not, or how they weave it into a set at a different spot or not, you know? So it's just, yeah, I think for me, All I Need, I've seen a ton of them too. And I could, you know, I could do with seeing less for a little while, but it's really an epic song. And sometimes, even though I might even hear the opening notes in a show and be like, oh, sometimes the jams are just like, oh, okay, no, that was fine. I'm fine with that, you know? So I didn't get to listen to this whole second set. I did listen to Pancakes, but, you know, some All I Needs are better than others as well. So
sure, that's right. Well, all I need is more pancakes right now. Me and my uncle follow up All I Need, super strong. We know they do it well. And then a super dope Rosewood Moby. Always a good combo. And closing it out with Drive. You know, I actually talked to some people in SF that were not happy with that Drive and, you know, where it was placed.
I've heard it was short also. So that could throw people off too. Drive is usually so long. You know, whatever. They can't all be winners, you know. Sure. Flap those jacks. I just finally turned on the comments, dude. I was like, why is nobody chatting on 9? but I don't know I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. So
Bruce also moonlights as an IT professional, which is hilarious. Encore, Jive 2. Oh, so no jam in the drive. They rip-corded it according to the chat. So
okay, they rip-corded it. Yeah.
What a shame. What a shame. What a shame.
Dude.
Yeah, come on, Rick. Jive 2, Jive Lee, Encore. I love Jive 2 Encore.
Classic.
I love a Jive 2 Encore. I've probably heard as many Jive 2s as I have all I need, but I just like to complain as well. So let's go to LA. Let's go to LA. LA, Hollywood. Tremendous vibe. Hollywood is it was my first time at a Goose show in LA, as was many people's. The Fonda was a super cool venue. Great setup, massive outdoor little patio thing outside with a projection screen.
Love that. Love outdoor patio things at shows. Oof. Yeah.
Perfect timing. I flew out to LA right as the first snowflakes were hitting the ground in New York City. Avoided this nor'easter. And the Fonda was incredible. Honeybee opener. It was awesome to see Coach out there hyping the crowd, then immediately on Rain Stick. I actually really like this placement.
Yeah, so do I. I really like Honeybee. I'm pretty soft. So, I love it. And I love seeing Coach out there. At least it wasn't the 10-foot Rain Stick this time. Just a normal size. So that was clutch. But yeah, good way to start.
And something about this whole Fonda show, the guys are trying some new things. And what I really liked is a lot of these set one songs are ones you classically see in set two. Arcadia, Travelers, Creatures, so it really was a high energy set one. And, LA, I think it got the rap as a city that people don't really move around and they're not that hype. But people were really digging that first set. The energy was super high in the room. I was sweating up a storm. And then we saw the debut of Born.
Yeah. I was I think I guessed it wrong as something else in the chat. I forget what. But I think some other people were guessing along with me, so they were wrong as well. But yeah, it ended up being Born. I just didn't think they were gonna. I had a feeling like they weren't gonna play this like live for a while, maybe, or or very, very rarely. Still might be the case, but I always thought I could hear a place for this song in a live setting, and
definitely.
They stretched it out a little bit, I think. And then just like we talked about on the last pod episode, there's a different vibe in different atmosphere, a different sound in a theater, like you're in the Fonda, this classic place. So I just, they as long as they hit the right vibe with it, they have the right set to place it in, they put it in the right spot. I thought it was very cool. I really liked it, enjoyed it a lot between that Creatures and then the flow down at the end. So I think that was really well placed. That was really smart of them because I do think it changed a bunch of minds on the stream. That was when I was watching. So
definitely. And then flow down, close the set, boom, boom, bang, bang, all business. Set to Atlas Dogs.
Yeah. I like this song. I wonder, I haven't heard Redbird yet. Full disclosure, that's the next night. But at the time I liked this song, listening to it, I still like it, but it's maybe one of the new songs that I think just needs a little work or something. But it's a cooler song, faster rocker. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way about that. So let us know in the comments. But yeah, again, putting it in front of the second set, everybody's excited just to hear the new song. Atlas Dogs does have a little bit of energy behind it. Cool drum and rhythm beat. So yeah, I don't know your take from being there live. How did you feel about it?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was so busy chomping through the beginning of set two.
Okay.
Making connections in LA.
Our usual. Definitely. Dude, networking.
Networking aggressively in the middle of Seekers 2.
Networking.
But I'm sure it was really good. But made some great connections, guys. You just stay tuned out there. Arrow into Kylie Minogue, Can't Get You Out of My Head. So one of my good friends from college, Erica, came out to the show. She had never seen Goose before, not even really ever seen a jam show. Happens to be a big Kylie Minogue fan.
Who isn't? I don't trust you if you're not.
Yeah, for sure. So I had to, I was like, yo, it's Kylie Minogue, yo. And she was like, I know, Greg. This is the one song I do know. Yeah.
Can't get you out of my head.
That's right.
I don't know, dude.
That's it. That was it. That was it.
Pop is the pinnacle.
But they did it. LA was vibing. LA was vibing. Yeah, as Chris Ramirez said in the chat, Peter's Keys and Can't Get You Out of My Head. Really, really dope. Just cool and really set a soundscape. Yeah, the Kylie cover slaps. And I like how they, they save it for like a sleek and sexy metropolis like New York City or LA. They know what's up. Yeah, they know what's up. Yeah. Back into Arrow to close it out. Energy was high. White Lights, Loose End. I was chomping again.
Yeah, it's fine. I expected you to be talking through most of the show. If I was there, I would have been probably listening and or talking as well. But I wasn't there, so I was actually able to listen to the show. And the White Lights, Loose Ends was good. I mean, I love Loose Ends. I was freaked out when I start to hear it. And the White Lights, Loose Ends combo is they're a pair now. They're kind of like getting to be like Stafford and Cooper Kupp a little bit. You know what I mean?
Nice one.
See, we allude to all kinds of stuff on the show.
We're not a Goose podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. See, football. So yeah. But I always like that. And then 726 is just, I love this song a lot. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah. And I think people need to, someone leaving the Fonda said getting a 726 encore was like being show of life. I will not explain that reference. I won't explain the reference further. If you know, you know.
Kind of right. Yeah,
but then again, like there's a time and a place for a beautiful ballad.
Yeah, so I guess it was a little slow for an encore. It's just so different when you're listening from home to some extent because it's just not the same energy that you're working with. Even though I could feel the energy of some songs like the Madhavan, I could feel the energy. White Lights, Loose Ends, getting all pumped up for Loose Ends, but it's like, it's different because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to be going to sleep. So
exactly.
726 is great. Yeah.
It's a good way to land the plane. But not every encore can just be, Slapple time. So
no, I can't.
We'll talk a little bit more encores because Regency night one. To be excellent set list, I want to dig into this a little bit, this construction, set list construction. But Doc Brown, Rockdale, and the 1-2 at the Regency. Really, really strong start. I never, I think at first I wasn't as confident in Doc Brown as an opener when they were playing to brand new crowds or, a place they hadn't really been once, just because Doc Brown, to me, it took a little while for it to be fleshed out. And really like have them hit their groove with it. But this, they came out firing.
I've always had like a spot for Doc Brown. I don't know. I just really enjoy the song. I think it's just definitely, again, something that placement is a big part of. But yeah, Doc Brown Rockdale is a great way to start. And then a kind of a surprise sandwich with Yeti and Martin slipping a Beatles song in between Yeti. So that's cool.
But the energy was so high in there. And Kathleen, a couple of Kathleen's friends who had never seen Goose before, also not big jam or indie group people, depending on how you define them. They're like, wow, we went from a rave to the Beatles, and back to a rave. And that was the best way to put it. Yeti was super high energy. And then the Old Man's Boat, I love the Old Man's Boat. I love how the song takes a turn with the jam. And that 1-2 punch of Old Man's Boat into Dragonfly, it was, gabagool.
Yeah, that first time was T5 that they played it, or that maybe there's the first time I heard it, but I didn't like it at first, and I don't know. I don't really know why, because now every subsequent time I've heard it or listened to it since then, I'm like,
you were pretty hyper at T5.
Or the opposite. Anyway, we're not going to get into my mental state at term life. And then Dragonfly. Let's move on to Dragonfly.
Yes. Dragonfly. Awesome.
Love the TED tapes coming in. Any TED tapes I'll take live.
They were super patient with it. The jam into Dragonfly was awesome. And just a really, 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 really strong first set. Set 2, Redbird. Bruce, you said you haven't heard Redbird yet. That was probably my first or second favorite of the new songs they debuted.
Okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was chill. enough. But again, these guys aren't holding back with these jams in set 2. They're really against set 2. They're really, really exploring. And that I like. That I really
Definitely.
like. And then like in the number 2 spot, Fifth of Beethoven. We need more Fifth of Beethoven.
It slaps so hard, and I'm just glad to see it back. Happy for the people that got it in San Francisco. It's such a fun song, no doubt about that. And honestly, like that, having a Rockdale and a Fifth of Beethoven, the Old Man's Boat goes kind of dancey. Eddie goes kind of dancey. So that's a lot of high energy, fun songs to step to during that show. So definitely looking like a good set list so far. And then a faster version of Echo.
Nice high octane Echo of a Rose. Really, that's coming to its own so fast. For a song that they changed the arrangement of, it's really, I think this is probably where it'll stay.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it in Austin. I can tell you that. I didn't like it, but I didn't really love it. And then when we got into Mission and they crushed it.
Oh yeah.
There was one part in the jam too where Geddy was fucking with the red lights and the ball and everything. It was like, it was so good. So that really changed a lot of my perspective on that. So I'm interested in listening back to this.
And then this Old C to follow up, probably good because it was allowed me to stop sweating for just a second before I Rock and Empress. One thing that was pretty cool that Geddy was doing was he's just been really good with playing with the lights in every single venue. If he can program anything, he'll program anything. So he was like turning the lights on, like the house lights throughout the venue, these big ornate chandeliers. The crowd was super into it. A really, really thick Trevor-led jam for Empress. I think I went live in El Goose for as long as I could until I had to throw my hands in the air. And that was a great way to close out second set. Doobie Song. And I think this is a Doobie Song encore. This is very similar to what we've been discussing in terms of how just about encores. I've never been a huge Doobie guy as an encore myself anyway. I like blunts.
Oh yeah, in terms of that, definitely. Although it's been years since I smoked a blunt now. Again, I referenced being soft earlier in the show. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I wouldn't have been personally over the moon with a Doobie Song encore per se after 2 sets like that.
After that show. For sure.
Some people though, I'm sure like are cool with getting that cool down a little bit. And but it's Doobie Song. They could throw something in after that if they wanted. So maybe next time they could just try to slap something onto the end of that.
Doobly.
Dublé.
Michael Dublé. So I do think just like to visit the chat really quick, Bruce Hardy, another Bruce up in here, 726 encore.
Shout out to other Bruces.
Yes, shout out to the Bruce community. Bruce Hardy prefers a 726 encore over a Doobie encore. I'd say I agree there. And also
I'd agree too.
Lucas Anderton said that there was a Redbird on a set list from a few years back. According to El Goose.
So so I had thought that too, but one of the things with that Redbird was I didn't have good verification on that and didn't really know about this song. So even though it's in there, it's just still something that we want to go confirm because even John has this as an original first time played. I'm wondering if maybe he just didn't have it in his notes that he checks back on. So we will definitely look into that because that was something I was thinking. I just wasn't going to mention it. Obviously, I don't want people questioning my knowledge. Also in the chat, Josh says he smokes blunts during Doobie Song, so it is possible.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I didn't know you could do that.
Some of the mysteries of the world, but so we'll check that out about Redbird because I think Neil's thinking of that too.
Lisa Gamarna says we need Russo.
Tell me about it. There he is.
There he is. Russo.
It used to be Western Sun.
Maybe we need to have Russo on next week.
Confirmed last night. Yeah, we need Russo as a guest one of these days.
We're gonna sign Russo up. Let's move on to the last night of the run. San Francisco night 2, the Regency Labyrinth set one opener. Boom Boom Bang Bang.
Love that. I love seeing that and then re-listening to it because that's tight. Good way to start, man.
Yeah, incredible way to start. And like Labyrinth and writing a novel. Boom, boom. Great combo right there. The
also
vibes were high.
Tech issues. Techies teching. Not to Rick's liking. So
10 techies teching. Yeah. So
and then Peter's like, "Oh, we're having stream issues. Not that any of you would care."
Yeah, that was good. I did. I did cheer there, but yeah, bummer. Bummer about the sound. I know they have been working to fix that. Unfortunately, I don't have an update on exactly what's happening, but hopefully something will be done to rectify.
I don't know. For the most part, I think the streams are good, and you can be nitpicky about any of the streaming sound, but I think they're pretty high quality nonetheless. For what you're getting, and it's just hard. You got every different venue, every different small venue, all of this equipment and wiring and all kinds of things that could just happen. So I think they do a pretty good job so far with getting that right most of the time.
Right, and there is such a massive chain from Peter striking a chord. Where that sound runs to be able to get to your home. I just really learned how the internet works, but like anything could go wrong along the way. And I think a lot of the time, venue internet may not be where it needs to be for a stream of that magnitude, but I'm glad it was fixed or semi-fixed. And I was even happier to be there for Tuble.
Yeah. Tuble.
Really good. I like a little smooth Tuble Blue. It was a good precursor to Wisteria Lane.
Okay, so
Lithuania.
This Wisteria was
Litany.
Money. Yeah, it was definitely Lithuania as well. No, it slapped. That angry kind of really gritty solo towards the end from Rick, and then they kept spacing it out after he kind of got moved away from that lick, and then so it was just everything about the end of that Wisteria, basically from halfway on, was just really nice.
I mean, that Wisteria it got super dark. There's still the ongoing conversation on Twitter about whether or not Goose goes Type 2. I thought that would put this to rest. I thought I had addressed it.
It's just been put to rest for so long, dude.
Right.
And it's just leaving the original structure of the song. I don't know why people put that much emphasis on how they leave it, and what they go do when they leave it. As long as they're not within the original sound structure, I don't know what you're looking for.
And also, if all you have to do is be a Type 2 gatekeeper, then I just suggest you enjoy music differently. But it is what it is. I believe I addressed it in a rap verse. But you can look back.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did. Nobody listens to that anyway. Me and Julio.
I forgot all about it.
Me and Julio
we never talk about it on the podcast. So.
Enough about me. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Andrew Getty. Fantastic whistle solo.
He had a little fluttering on the whistle in that. So I see,
Yep.
That's because he was just in France, on this little vacation, skiing in the Alps and whatever, eating croissants or whatever.
Croissants.
So he got a little flutter.
Yeah, he did work that flutter. But I am I'm disappointed. The jam didn't go as deep as it did in Pelham, where Getty really, really drove the jam pretty deep.
And that was hilarious. I loved that. I mean, that was Getty's birthday.
Oh, it's Getty's birthday.
And letting him stay up there for the jam and letting him jam out a little bit with Rick was so funny. And I mean, I personally loved it. I was really happy for him. He was having a great time. He got a lot out that he wanted out of that birthday show. And we just had such a great time down there too. But that was an excellent moment. It's always great to see him up there for me and Julio. It's been a while since they played that.
Last one could have been Pelham.
Maybe. It really feels like it's been a while, but if anyone knows in the chat, you all seem to know a little bit more.
You all seem to know a lot more than us. You guys should start a podcast. You all should really start a podcast. Set one closer, so ready. Awesome. Richard.
Classic.
Hands were active. Very active hands there. Really looking alive.
Very big hands, long fingers.
Big active hands. Looking alive. Very animated. Really just grasping the crowd with those hands. And then
grasp me with those hands any day. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to our Listen to our weekly episodes for Bruce describing this more colorfully. Arise set 2 opener.
Yes, I like Arise a lot. Yeah, he sounded good on that. The drumming in that is very cool. Yeah,
it was
you can hear him.
People had been asking a lot during the Arebelo run whether the songs would make it to the Goose live catalog, and I'm really happy to see that they are.
But is this the only one? This is the only one that debuted from Arebelo, I think.
For now.
For now, right? Yeah.
I don't know anything, but
I know very little. Yeah. I'm just going to make a point to that because there's so many people that have been, dying for new music.
Yep.
They've not only now just played 5 new songs,
right,
that are all pretty good, all very likable, and they really changed a lot of people's minds. I think with the Live Born as well. So here's all of these new songs, and they still have a bunch of new songs that debuted as Arebelo that could be available for the live catalog for Goose. Also,
right.
So,
I mean, actually, like Lisa and Neil in the chat are saying Dim Lights. Dim Lights was certainly my favorite of the new tracks that Arebelo played. I very, very much look forward to that appearing in the live catalog. But Bruce, you said 5 new songs. I mean, actually, technically,
6, right?
Yeah, we have 6. Yeah, if we include 6. Born. So let's see how this keeps going this tour. Like, do they have new songs for every set 2 opener for the rest of tour?
I'd be pretty surprised. I mean, I'm thinking maybe it just lasts through this West Coast run. I don't know, because a lot of new places that they're headlining for the first time. I know Wonder Ballroom coming up, they've played at. I mean, but it's like, first time headlining. Maybe they just come out with that West Coast. I don't know. I know they have more in the back burner than people think. I think, and they're trying to get it out there in a way that makes sense for them. So you will see, but I can't argue with it. The new songs have been fun to start off every second set. So I would like it to keep going.
So Arise followed up by Elizabeth, more of a standard Elizabeth than the one we saw to open up tour. But am I right in saying that Elizabeth was the first repeat of tour?
I'm looking at these notes, and I mean, just on first glance, yes. It looks
Again,
like
we're taking the Rogan approach, so it's true.
Elizabeth, I'm going to say yes.
First repeat.
No, it looks like it.
Yeah, first
unless
repeat
Tumble, you got Slow Tumble, and Fast Tumble. That was
Toomblay. Into the Mist. That was a nice little slapperoo. Into the Mist was good. And
I love Mist all of the time. So
I saw Jeff adjusting the microphone when Rick nodded at him during Mist, and I was right about Rock the Casbah, which was an energy fest. People were loving it, super loud, got super loud in there, people dancing. And then closing the set out with Elmeg. I mean, who could have asked for more?
Wearing the fly lid here by Rock and Relics. Just for that, I haven't even listened to it, but I heard a lot of people very happy about it, and I heard it ripped. They've now, the few times they play Elmeg, they really come with it. Yeah, really, really hard. Bring some huge jams with it. So it's good to hear. I can't wait to listen to it myself. Dr. Bob, shout out to Dr. Bob. He put a video on that he took on El Goose. If you guys want to check that out. But yeah, definitely later. I'm going to check that out on my stream.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Bob. I actually met Dr. Bob for the first time yesterday.
Oh, did you?
We were checking out of the hotel, and he had just posted Elmeg. So it was good, great to meet you, Dr. Bob. But I think, and one thing we'll talk about a little bit in just a moment when we talk more about my trip was like we explored the Redwoods. By we, I mean myself, my wife, my buddy Jonathan, in search of the perfect Elmeg tree. And one thing about these West Coast runs, Rick specifically, all the guys, but Rick specifically really draws a lot of inspiration from nature, and I don't know if this Elmeg tree exists, if it's a redwood, if it's out somewhere near Mount Tam. But I do know that, whenever the guys are on this side of the country, they need to get out and see Mount Shasta, see the trees, see nature. And I honestly wonder if that kind of was what was speaking to them when they decided to play the song to end set 2 last night in San Fran.
Well, that was blazed, and yeah, the guys are very crunchy. We know the guys are very crunchy and heady. So I don't know what to say. I guess I agree. Yeah. I guess I agree. In other words,
it could, it could be true. I had this like really eloquent picture of how I was going to describe that, and it just did not come out the way I thought it would.
Look, I love exploring trees as well. You know, I'm big into mountains named Shasta. Also Rick's dog Shasta. Shout out to Shasta. But yeah, I agree. And I'm glad they played it again. It's like they played Fifth out there. They played Elmeg, Labyrinth. They gave people all these new songs. They played a lot of hits. And
they did play the hits.
Yeah, so I think they're giving people on the West Coast for these headlining tours, you know, what they needed to come with, you know, some big shows, and gives people something special to take with them, because God knows when Goose will be back out there. We know there's some parts of the country they don't visit. So at least they will be getting into the West Coast. So
they will be back out west, at least for High Sierra Festival, which I unfortunately don't think I can make it to, but you know, so many people were talking Sierra this weekend. I didn't realize, I think, just how significant High Sierra is for Northern California. And so I think they're really going to get back out there and make their impression felt. But these shows were really good. It was just a great way to lay groundwork for what will be a big festival set.
Yeah, I'm really trying to figure out a way to swing that, because it just looks like a really epic festival. They got a really great lineup this year between Sweetwater and that High Sierra lineup. I was like, wow, dude, these are some really good festivals. High Sierra is a little tougher to get out to. I got some friends that are going though, so I'm going to try to make that happen. But yeah, you know, I think that'll be cool. Sure enough, you know, no matter what I say, because most of it is suspect, but they're going to be out west again, you know, before you know it, for sure. You know, they're building a lot of fans out there, so expect to see them out there again. And that's what my expectation was. These shows were hard for me to swing, so I'm glad you could get out there and enjoy them. But hopefully next time around, you know, it's going to be a little bit easier. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about me, what I did while I was there. Besides my epic quest to find that tree.
The epic quest might be my one. That's
one. But you know, one of the cool things, I think, just there's obviously so much history in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and I think the significance in this community of music that we all know and love. And there were a lot of people who came out to see the band, maybe for the first time, for the second time, but just to show that support. And myself, as a burgeoning young publicist for hire, got to have dinner with one of my a huge source of inspiration in this new, you know, career for me. And that was Dennis McNally, who was the, you know, Grateful Dead historian, Grateful Dead's publicist, and his wife, Susanna Millman. Susanna was the Dead's photographer for years, Jerry's personal photographer. So before the second night of SF, we went to out to dinner, and Dennis was so kind as to share a whole bunch of stories, you know, from back in his time with the Dead, as well as to give me a bunch of pointers as I figure out how I'm going to write the Goose book in a few years. So what should I call the Goose book? In the chat, please let me know, because unfortunately the Great Beyond is taken.
Yeah, I mean, we could just keep reusing it if we can't think of anything else, you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yep.
I'm glad Trevor played Wisteria in honor of the podcast moving to Osiris too.
Yeah, that was good. He forgot to mention it.
Yeah, they didn't say it explicitly, but that was what he did.
Maybe I'll name the book Pancakes.
Well, if you need an editor, it's one of my only skills, so I'm here for you. Also, I wanted to, you know, we mentioned the Jam of the Year before and Jive Goose's account. I know there's a bunch of guys behind the Jam of the Year, so good work on all of that stuff. But a lot of people go to Jive Goose for, you know, some of these nerdier Twitter stats. Let me just say it like that. And Jive has this week listed as LA, San Diego, San Fran 1, San Fran 2, and then Tempe. What are your thoughts from being out for at least most of those shows? Well, what might have been your favorite?
So I can certainly see Jive's points in placing LA where it was on his list as number one. That said, I was probably so busy chomping during LA that I can't make a conclusive call. So in that sense, San Diego, I think, could be my number one. Okay. But number two, I would have to put SF Night 1 up there. I mean, Doc Brown Rockdale, Fifth of Beethoven, Empress, Trevor removing one layer of t-shirt. Like, really had...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just got down to the beater. I, really had a lot to offer there. Of course, I think my one kick in the shin would be the Doobie Encore.
Right.
But I can't rank them. I don't know. I can't even pick a gem of the year. Every gem.
Never the best ranker when it comes to stuff, but I do know with feel sometimes how good a show might be. I only listened to about 60%, I'd say, of the music from this weekend, last week. From all these shows, but I have put a bit into listening. I did like LA a lot. I did think LA was a really great show, kind of from top to bottom. So I might agree with him on that. But either way, I think overall, a little bit of nitpicking stuff here and there, but the shows were really good.
Right.
And they kind of keep that going. They always play consistently good shows, and they always deliver the goods, even if it's not somebody's ideal show. So as long as they keep that going, they got a full steam ahead. Upcoming shows, we could talk about Ben. Let me see.
Ben's the only show. Ben's like the only show in the next week or so that there are tickets left for. So if you want to see this band, go to Ben. Yeah, Portland 2 nights are sold out. Seattle sold out. Bozeman sold out. So Ben, really get yourself some tickets. And interestingly, I heard a lot of people this weekend talking about Portland. I think this low-key could be one of the hottest shows of the tour.
Those 2 Wonder Ballroom shows are looking mighty tempting right now. But I mean, we're looking at a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday run here with the Oregon shows, right? So Midtown tomorrow night, Wonder Ballroom on Thursday and Friday, then Neptune Theater on Saturday. Okay, cool. And then they scoot over to Bozeman. I know a bunch of people that are going out to Montana too. I think the Pine Creek runs just, changed some people's lives, I guess. And then they just want to get out to Montana now to see the band. I've heard great things about Bozeman too. I wish they had more than one night. Again, a lot of these winter shows out west I can't hit, but multiple night run in Montana in the future, I would definitely want to hit up because it just sounds like a great town to see music in.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I need to get to one of these Montana things. But you know what, Bruce? Well, we still have 30 people listening. Let's do a giveaway.
Holy shit.
Let's do a giveaway.
Wow.
Let's do a giveaway. Something from the Goose store online. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the new merch quite yet. That is all on the road with the guys, so we can't do that. This week, we are going to give away a Classic 5 logo tee in maroon. I think it's maroon. I don't know. My wife says I'm colorblind. We're going to give out a Classic
Never heard of that
5 logo tee. The 5 logo tee is, of course, that beautiful multicolored 5-headed goose, that classic shirt that you see everywhere.
I almost wore that to match the Rock and Relics hat because it's got this little rainbow shit going on and a lot of color. But I should mention, because somebody else messaged me during the show, this shirt is a great shirt. It's of a hedgehog named Kemosabe eating a banana. So I just wanted to shout out my friend Jess for getting that for me. It overtook the Goose, Navy 5 design with light blue.
While we're talking t-shirts and before we lose our listeners, I have this microphone here. This is the second Goose shirt ever made. The G logo designed by
the green and brown is tough to find too.
The green, So designed by Will Thresher, who also wrote Shenanigans Nightclub, the movie, former manager of Vasudo. Second Goose shirt ever made. The first one was in red and
And blue. Navy one. Yeah, I have that
Navy
one.
Blue has the original website, gooseband.us, that is no longer around. Anyway, we've gone too far on a tangent. We are giving away
fashion. People listen for fashion, football, as well as music.
Fashion, football, not a Goose podcast.
Yeah, duh. Obviously.
So here's our question this week. What is our email for our podcast? greatbeyondpodcast@gmail.com. Greatbeyondpodcast. Been a long weekend.
So hard for y'all.
greatbeyondpodcast@gmail.com. Classic 5 logo tee up for grabs today. First person to email will win. Today's trivia question is, what was the third song played at Goosemas 1?
Oh.
I have the soundboard here in my iTunes. Third song played at Goosemas 1. Classic 5 logo tee in maroon on the line.
I think I have a guess. I'm not going to guess. I'm not open for winning anything.
You can email us at greatbeyondpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, maybe. Oh, one thing I should say. We called out Will Thresher for the shirt that Greg's wearing. He is the director and writer for Shenanigans Nightclub, the movie. There's also going to be a big thing about him and El Goose Time. Shout out to John. I see him in the chat. Make sure to check that out. That's going to be coming out in a month. So you'll see that out on tour. That typically goes on the merch booth now. So you can just grab your free copy. Shout out to Commander Q, Naveed Quarterman, for handling merch management for these guys on these live shows. And make sure to check that out.
Well, let's see. I'm checking the email here. Only a couple of guesses. Nobody is correct so far. Sorry, Ryan Storm.
Oh,
sorry, Colin Sword.
Tough misses.
I guess what we'll do is we'll
leave it open for sure.
We'll leave it open. And you'll have to tune into our next episode, Great Beyond Live, next week. We will let you know who won, unless we update it on socials. Wait, Daniel Whitty. You are a winner, but you sent this from your work email. Merch giveaway, secure message. So Daniel, you got it. The song is "It Burns Within." Daniel, congratulations.
Nice.
5 logo tee coming your way. Daniel, feel free to send us your t-shirt size and your address, and we'll get that shipped out. We will not tell your boss that you emailed us from your work email.
Unless he listens. We're getting popular on Osiris now. You don't know what he's doing. He might not be working either.
He might have been the first guy that guessed.
Shout out to Dan, though. Dan's also one of the guys that helped put together the whole Jam of the Year bracket and stuff. So shout out to Dan.
So yes, and it burns within. I don't know if that soundboard exists anywhere online. Maybe if you dig pretty hard, you can find it. Maybe that'll be a giveaway one week. We'll give away that soundboard. Ryan Storm calls collusion. There's no collusion here, Ryan Storm.
I collude whenever I can, Ryan. So you're correct, but just not now because I didn't need the shirt. I don't wear maroon.
Congrats to Daniel, and thank you all for participating. I love the sportsmanship here. You guys are way kinder to each other than El Goose. But Bruce, it's been about an hour, and I took the red eye back. I think we should wrap this up. Greg needs to nap.
Oh, I think everybody else is tired of it too. But thanks for sticking around. This is our first live episode. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday during tours, recapping these shows. We'll try to do better next time. But yeah, and stay tuned. We're going to have more giveaways coming up. We got some stuff from this guy, Rockin' Relics, to give away as well. So Greg's got some official stuff from the band. So stay tuned for our regular episodes every other Wednesday, and these come in on Tuesdays during tour. And yeah, thanks for participating and supporting us and listening in. And work sucks, so yeah, you might as well listen to us during lunch hour on Tuesdays.
And with that, we will see you next week. We've also got an official in-studio episode coming next Wednesday with some special guests, so stay tuned for that. But nap time for Greg, and we'll see you guys next week.
So everybody, make sure to check out videos of animals eating. It's really inspiring.
Later.
See ya.
Down the pathway to the great beyond.
Osiris.